Hi there, it's Julie with Little Rays, and I'm here with Lee, our zoo director. And we're going to talk about something really important today, actually, because a lot of the time we have comments or questions from the public as to why we don't release animals back into the wild.
Yep.
And you're the perfect person to ask this question to, so maybe you can offer up some enlightenment.
Sure. So it's always an interesting one, and it's definitely something as a facility that we are, where we rescue animals and bring them into, is to get them back out into their forever home or to get them back out into the wild. But unfortunately it's not as easy as that, and this is where it becomes a little bit tricky, where people aren't always aware of the different situations that can affect these animals going back into the wild. Whether it be an animal that has been long-term captive, where somebody had it as a pet at their cottage, and then they brought it down from wherever it is, and they came back to Toronto, and then they got bored of the animal, they handed it to the next friend at school, and it gets passed along like this, and then eventually the Ministry of Natural Resources are onto this, and the animal gets surrendered to them, and they now can't find exactly where that animal came from. So at that point, we can't just take those turtles and release them anywhere, because as much as we find painted turtles here in Ottawa, we find them in Toronto, we find them in different places, it doesn't mean you can just release them anywhere, because there are things like genetic pollution where you could dilute the gene pools.
And we're not just talking about, alligators and things that should never be released here in Canada. We're talking about animals that are native here.
Yeah, 100%.
Bullfrogs, certain types of snakes, turtles that actually belong here in this environment, but that just can't be released. And turtles,
Yep.
There's a rule about turtles too. You can only release them within 2 square miles of where they were found.
Yep.
So that poses a problem as well.
That's right. And then the other side of it is when you have people that keep turtles as pets, they normally also keep other exotic animals. And if there's a cross-contamination between an exotic animal and a native species that you may not be aware of or may not be showing signs of illness, and you end up taking that turtle and releasing it back into the wild, you could very easily spread a disease to and wipe out an entire native species population that is a vulnerable species at this point. So we've got to be very, very cautious of things like this, and it's something we always have to make people aware of. We don't just keep them in human care because we want to. We do it because that's the best for the animal, and we use it for education to teach people why they shouldn't be picking those turtles up or their native species up and taking them home and keeping them as pets. Observe them outside.
Here at Little Rays, some animals may never be released back into the wild, like Rexy here. Aw, good boy. Good boy. Woo! He doesn't like you.